Hi there everyone. I used to live from paycheck to paycheck and with hardly any savings. So it's not until when I get educated with some good financial education via YouTube. You can get lots of information over there, and I noticed that one way to save or invest is to be able to reduce on your expenses. Yeah, usually in my other videos I talk about how to increase your income, but in this video we are going to focus on how we can reduce our expenses, because expenses is actually our liability. It is money that is going out of our pocket. So in this video we are going to look at 7 easy minimalist habits I use to save money. So let's begin. Welcome back, folks. So just as a disclaimer, I'm not a financial consultant, so what I'm saying here is just for entertainment purpose. So the first tip is coffee. I really enjoy drinking coffee. I enjoy drinking filtered coffee, and I drink it every day. So what I used to do is I used to buy the coffee powder in a like Starbucks, 250 grams of Starbucks coffee for about 30 ringgit. That's what we used to spend. So now, or recently, or quite some time now, I've been enjoying great savings because I've been roasting my own coffee. And besides that, I actually, after roasting the coffee, I grind it on my own, grind the coffee, and then afterwards brew it. They call that a French press. So I use that. It's very convenient. You can use it over and over again. I used to use filtered paper, so that costs a bit of money. But since I use the French press, I noticed that it is really tasty. You can smell the aroma, and it only take you about 5 to 7 minutes. And then the coffee is just fantastic. So I've been saving quite a bit of money because of roasting my own coffee. It's not so difficult. We can actually use any pan, and you can just buy the raw coffee online and just have to roast it for about 45 minutes, and then you are done. Sieve it, and you are ready to go. Second point is on clothing. So with clothing, what do you think? Quality versus branded. Would you prefer to buy clothing that is of branded, which is cost a bit more? So please, I'd like to hear your comments there, if you could, in the bottom section. So with myself, or what we do is that we always go for quality clothing, not necessarily branded, but it has to be of good quality. It can be new, it can also be used. So when you buy used clothing, I mean, it's just really, you can save a ton of money with that one. Some people may not prefer to buy used clothing because they are superstitious or other reasons, but for us it is fine. Or if we really need to buy new clothing, we buy it when it's on sale, so that can really save a bit of money. And with footwear, what I used to do is to get cheap footwear, whether it's leather shoe or sports shoes, and I really regretted that, because what happened is that I noticed that you wear it for like a short time, just some months, and then it wear out already. And the thing is that with footwear, if I don't use good quality footwear, what happens is that my leg really suffers. It hurts. So I regretted by buying cheap footwear. So from now on, I'm just going to spend a bit more money on quality footwear, and it's really well worth it, and your body will really thank you for it. Okay, so point number 3 is never buy on credit. So because when we buy on credit, whether it's a credit card, it is going, the interest is just going to accumulate, and we end up paying a lot more than what the price tag is. And all this is a liability. We have money that's going out of our pocket. So if we use a credit card, it is also some depends on the credit card. It is like a two-edged sword. You can use it to your advantage, but if you don't use it properly, it might really hurt you with all those interests. So if you use a credit card, it'll be good to pay within 3 weeks. So therefore, you don't have to worry about interest. And it's also a useful tool if you know how to manage your finances, to gain cashbacks and rewards. So we can think about that. Point number 4 is when it comes to technology or gadgets. For us, we actually try to delay technology, whether it's a laptop or a phone, we use it until it is really expired, it is past the use by date, before we purchase a new gadget. When it comes to buying a laptop or mobile phone, we try to buy according to our affordability, what we can afford. So, and the thing is that with technology, you know how it revolves really fast, and we try to get the latest. So the latest gadget, and it could be 6 months old, and to get a bit of a discount instead of just buy when it's just released. And usually within 5 to 7 years, we find that we need to change a new gadget, and then now we get to see that 5G is coming up, and everything is updated. So for us, especially when we are doing online tutoring, it will be very good to use a model that is new, so that so that we are able to conduct our lessons more effectively. So that's just my opinion. And point number 5, when it comes to food, is it good to save as much as you can and spend as least as you could when it comes to food? For us, we never cut our budget when it comes to food, because it's so important to be able to eat nutritious food, and it is like a long-term investment. So when we buy good food, nutritious food, it goes into your system, and then it's just going to affect your whole well-being, and your performance, your energy levels. It's just going to do a lot of good there. So when we do shopping, we actually try to buy in bulk. For example, instead of buying pieces of chicken, we buy whole chicken. We buy in bulk onions, garlics, up to 5 to 10 kilograms at one time. So that can really reduce expenses. And when it comes to shopping, I would recommend to track your expenses, because if you don't track your expenses, you could have spent on some food, at the end of the month, you could have easily overspent. That's why I notice when it comes to food, groceries, I need to really track the expenses just to make sure that we are within that budget. So sometimes when we can spend a bit more on some luxuries, fine. But at other times when we notice that our food budget is a bit high, then we try to reduce as much as we could, or we try to reduce when it comes to like eating desserts, that kind of thing. Okay. So point number 6, when it comes to rent, let's talk about rent. Because rent is a fixed expense, it is a liability. You're not going to earn money from rent. When you pay rent, it is money going out of your pocket. So you can consider reducing your rent. What we used to do is that we used to rent a studio apartment brand new, and we have to pay more rent, obviously, for that. And we noticed that day in day out, after the first few months, it is really exciting because you are living in a very nice apartment. It's new, it's modern, it smells nice. But after 6 months, 1 year, 1.5 years, you look around, it is just normal. It goes back to normality, and you don't get that excitement, that kick. So I would say that if that time I start to realize, why not I can just reduce the rent. If I can reduce the rent, I can really save more and invest more. So what we did, we actually moved to another place, lower rent, So what I noticed when we are trying to rent a place, trying to rent a property, what is most important when it comes to renting, it is not about brand new or whatever, because you get bored after some time. What we notice is very important when you are renting a place is that it has to be near a forest, because if it's near the jungle or forest, at the outback, you can enjoy fresh air, and it's just amazing when you get to experience that. A place with good ventilation. So sometimes if the wind is not facing your side when you open the window, your house, your apartment, your place can feel really heaty, very hot, you see. And also the place that you rent, is important that the place is peace and quiet, especially when you're sleeping at night. You don't want to be facing the highway with all, or a nightclub or something with all the noise going around, and the bass and so forth. So that can really be an inconvenience. So besides that, thick cement and concrete walls. So if they have thick concrete walls, that means if your neighbors, they have kids with families, if they are noisy, not a problem for you, because you won't be able to hear anything. And another thing, especially if you're an online tutor, it has to have good Wi-Fi. So usually we can enjoy good Wi-Fi or broadband in usually a higher floor. So if you are living in ground floor at an apartment, probably the reception is not as stellar, not as good. So, and the other thing is privacy. So that is really important for us, that is, to have the privacy. So it's better to rent the whole place for yourself than to share with other people, because it probably is cheaper if you want to rent a room, but the things that it comes with is inconveniences such as lack of privacy and so forth. Okay, point number 7 is cook at home instead of eating out. Of course, we want to splurge once in a while. We want to eat out in hotels, buffets, and so forth, or restaurants. But for us, we prefer to cook at home. And with eating home cooked food, we get to have nutritious food, fresh and nutritious, and we get to enjoy a bigger portion of protein-rich food and veggies and salad. So when we eat out, usually it's in a smaller portion. Good food, which is we try to avoid that pesticide. Sometimes you buy some food or salad or vegetables, you notice that they have like lots of pesticide. After you wash them with salt or baking powder, you notice that it is still, you can taste the chemicals. So what we try to do, we spend a bit more and get really fresh vegetables. It goes in a system you're going to enjoy and be able to perform better, especially when you're teaching students either online or face-to-face. And point number 8 is subscriptions. We always try to think twice before subscribing to something, whether it's Netflix or whatever, because subscriptions, you have to pay it every single month. So are you going to use it? If you only use it a few times a month, is it worth it? Of course, if you are going to use it all the time, probably it's worth it. But if not, probably we have to think carefully before talking about subscription. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, feel free to subscribe, because it's entirely free. And please also press the like button if you really enjoy this episode. So thank you very much for your time, really appreciate it. And please subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you again in the next video.